Research found that every one of our peers, regardless of the history and intensity of the Greek scene,
Regardless of what they've done in their past, what they've said.
Bill Clinton, people know him for his career, regardless of your political background.
Regardless of what the fuel is.
Regardless of the job that I was doing.
It's technically a year-long program where women, regardless of their ability to...
Regardless of the voices in
the 70s and 80s, regardless of how desolate,
regardless of their race or nationality, and then help.
Essential book for every student, regardless of his or her age.
I was a disc jockey, but regardless of what you do,
This is not either or, regardless of what the media...
And regardless of what you think of this guy.
Or get your loss deduction, regardless of whether you sell or whether you hold on to the stock.
people about a wide range of issues, regardless of where they sit ideologically.
Make sure, regardless of what one thinks of the Common Core.
Shop at the store, regardless of whether members of that
Email tags, we can then reuse them regardless of what JavaScript.
No hunger and where everybody, regardless of how wealthy their parents are.
Regardless of your socio-economic condition.
All genres. So regardless of whether this news will help.
Regardless of the personal risks.
Impact on a person's usage and interaction with technology, regardless of their prior experience.
No woman, regardless of her relationship to infidelity.
Healthcare for every American, regardless of how little you may have.
Regardless of what other people say.
Single room to isolate them, because regardless of whether it's this one.
Regardless of how hard we try.
Relative velocities. If Newton's laws are truly universal, why?
To every student in the same way and to the same extent, regardless of destination.
All people, regardless of whether or not they are good.
That story, regardless of the format, has always...
Get one credit, good for any audiobook regardless of price from Audible's
sales, regardless of the law or how it might hurt society.
Regardless of where you are in the world.
We'll expect to see a different approach to the peace process regardless of who takes office.
You need to keep on pushing, regardless of other people's reactions.
Have a membrane, regardless of whether or not they may have a cell wall.
Regardless of gender.
Battles, regardless of the enemy's action.
You are a guy, regardless of how many gods and serial killers.
Hazards. Regardless of race, gender, age.
Regardless of what fiction often says.
Regardless of, your income was the same regardless of what you did.